We are officially in the silent depression, and housing is the cause. In 2020, you could get a house for $300,000 at a 3% interest rate. Your payment out the door with taxes and everything would be $1,800 a month. Not too shabby. Today, that same house right next door, your neighbor, would pay $450,000 at a 7.5% interest rate, putting the payment at $3,800 for the same house right next door. $2,000 more. But here's where it gets wild. Back in 2020, a person to qualify for this house would have to make $60,000. That's reasonable between you and a spouse or you yourself, $60,000. Today, it has bumped up to $120,000 to have a shot at getting this loan. So that is why tens of millions of Americans have been priced out of the housing market. And to take it a step further, when you add in the interest over a 30-year period of what the house would actually cost you after the 30 years if you never refinanced, in 2020, this home would end up costing you $441,000 after your 30-year loan. The same house in 2023 will end up costing you $1.1 million.
Truth be told, this is actually the first time the white folks will start learning how real struggle is. They are used to having everything at their beckon. The policy favors them, the government favors them, benefits comes without struggle to them. But for the first time, it looks like it's not so any longer because the government is saying that no more benefit. If you want to get benefit, you have to work for it. And it looks like all of them, let me paraphrase, most of them don't like the fact that things are not going their way. They are suffering, they are struggling, and they're not used to struggling actually. They are not used to the fact that they have to work for everything they need to get. They are used to having it at their beacon, having it at the tip of their hand. But right now, everything is changing. Welcome to my channel. Let me take you through the series of videos that I've put together for you guys to watch as to how and what the white folks are saying. They are not used to struggling. That is the truth. But the black, we are used to fighting our way high, fighting our way up to getting everything that we need. But to the white folks, they're not used to that. And they are crying. They are saying, why are the blacks silent? They need to speak for us. And the question is, why should we speak for you when you didn't speak for us? When our forefathers were going through a lot of things, you guys were enjoying it. You guys were having the fun of the moment. But right now, we're in the same shoes. Let's work it out. Let's see who is more rugged. Let's see who is more determined to break through. And these are the words of the black to the white folks. Guys, let's go. Check out these videos and I'll be right back. Credit belongs to original creators whose videos I use on this platform. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere.
Silent depression. When you compare the Great Depression to today, this is going to absolutely blow your mind. In 1930, during the Great Depression, the average home in America was $3,900. The average car was $600, and the average monthly rent was $18 or $216 a year, and the average salary was $1,300 for the year. Fast forward to today, it is $436,000 for the average home, $48,000 for the average car, and the average rent is $2,000 a month or $24,000 a year, and we have a $56,000 income for the average American right now. So if you look back to the Great Depression, the house was only 3 times the average salary. Now it is 8 times the average salary. The car was 46% of the salary. The car today is 85% of the salary. And here's the craziest part. The rent was 16% of the average salary. It is now 42% of the average salary. We are in...
Hi, this is Attorney Davis responding to your comment. And as I mentioned before in the original video, yes, statistically speaking, white people are the biggest beneficiary of welfare programs. And I just want to drop some knowledge on you. Not on you specifically, but on the original comment, the person that posted it. All right, so a little bit about me is that prior to becoming an attorney, my trade actually is economics. I'm an economist by trade and education-wise. In fact, I was going to work on Wall Street prior to becoming an attorney, but I wound up becoming an attorney. Now that that's out the way, let's get to the raw statistics. All right, so white people are the biggest beneficiaries of welfare. White people make up about just about a little bit over 40% of welfare, being recipients of welfare. Another 25.7% is made up by African Americans. Approximately 10.3 are Hispanic. 2.
I am seeing so many people finally waking up and seeing how fucked up our country is. And I have a really big reminder for folks who are just now starting to wake up to what's going on, or just started waking up in the last year, few years. There are a lot of people who understand this fight a lot better than you do, that have been organizing this resistance so much longer. One of the most humbling experiences I've had is just realizing how many more people have been in this fight so much longer than me. I've been in activism for about a decade, and that's nothing. There is so much I don't know and don't understand about the centuries-old fight many people, especially marginalized people, people of color, our Black folks, Indigenous folks. There is so much we don't know about their struggles. And they have been the core of this resistance we're all just now fucking joining. Because this country was never set up to benefit them. Us white-skinned folks have had the opportunity and the advantage to be able to fucking ignore that, because it hasn't hurt us personally until pretty recently. If you're super fired up about wanting to do things and make a change, look to the people who've been doing this a really long time, who understand the problems, because they also have the solutions you're looking for that you have no idea are even out there. This country has always been set up to benefit powerful, rich, white men at the expense of everybody else. The very foundation and roots of this country are that. And the only way to move forward past this is to get those rotten roots plucked out, ripped out, and build something completely new. And I encourage all of you to read this book. It is very thick. It is all of the history they did not want us learning, because history is written from the perspective of the oppressors. The people in charge get to dictate how history is written and whose messages get to be erased. And they get to dictate whose side of the story gets to be told and whose doesn't and gets buried. And they've been trying really fucking hard to cover up this information. They do not want you reading this shit. The United States has caused so many people so much indescribable levels of trauma and pain that are still affecting us right now. I think absolutely every single white person in this country needs to read this book. It will change your entire life and your entire worldview.
He spent the money. Yeah, Trump spent all the money in the EBT and the SNAP contingency fund. Over $5 billion. The contingency fund is gone.
I'm sorry, have we all seen Justice Brown's opinion off the SNAP case? She said Congress has failed to appropriate funds to pay for supplemental nutritional assistance program SNAP benefits for this fiscal year. The executive branch has since exhausted the entirety of the SNAP's contingency reserve. They spent the fucking money.
One of the things I'm starting to realize is that during this particular time in history, during this unrest, if you will, the situation that is taking place and unfolding is very extreme, very serious, and it's not to be taken lightly. Our government is in shambles in a way that we have not experienced in some time in this country. And so when I say this, I'm not trying to be dismissive of those things and the things that are taking place. I want to caveat that before anybody says anything. I want to be clear that me, myself, I have to be extremely discerning about where I'm getting my information from here on TikTok, or rather who I'm getting my information from. And the reason for that is every time I see a palm-colored person on my timeline screaming at the top of their lungs or shaking or blinking or feeling some sort of fear and regurgitating that back to me in words, right? What they're feeling, I have to remember that for them, this is the first time they've actually had to experience the consequences of their either action or inaction. Because for a long time, they've told us to stop forgetting, to forget race, to move on. that it's not a race issue. And for even longer than that, they were saying it's not even a class issue, that you just got to bootstraps and work harder and you just hate rich people. And now that the consequences of either them pretending that nothing is political or them voting in a manner with their whiteness, now they're suffering the consequences. And it's been painfully aware for me for a while now, but I could better articulate it, that while I am absolutely devastated at the loss of not having Kamala Harris as our president, because she's a serious person, I've been reading her book. We missed out on the amazingness that this American country could have been. I am gleefully, unfortunately, but gleefully happy that the country is experiencing the tyranny and the terror it has rained upon people of color for forever. Because now they want you to care about class. Now the white people you've been screaming at the top of your lungs saying, hey, life's kind of unfair here, guys. They want you to worry about class. Oh, it's about class. It's never not been about class. It's just happened to be about class and race for most Black people or people of color. They can't avoid the topic. It is negatively impacting their day-to-day life, their ability to succeed. And now that it's affecting white people, I have to remember that every time they come on my screen, no shade to you who are relaying information, but every time they come on my screen and they're saying, this is the worst thing ever, this is horrible, this is this, I have to remember that that is a person who typically does not experience the consequences that the country puts everybody else through. Or somebody who's convinced themselves, at least, that the things that happen politically don't really affect them. So while they're bad, they're morally wrong, they might feel bad even, like, oh, I really hate that these people are experiencing. They go about their day as normal and they say things like, well, I don't want my politics to be all about who I am. I don't want politics in my business. I don't want politics in my hobbies. I don't want politics in my food. I don't want politics in my TV. Like, I just want to step back from politics. They can't step back now. And they're screaming because there's no safe place for them to go to stick their head in the sand and ignore what has taken place. And again, this is not me ragging on white people. But again, as somebody who's Black, I have to remember this is not the worst it's ever been. And unfortunately, until we fix our race and class problem, this is not the worst it's going to ever be. Because as my mother has always said, those who don't listen will feel. Okay? Those who did not adhere to the words of the Black Americans who are putting their body, life, and limb on the line to have rights in this country that white people, white women, white children benefit from, they did not listen to us. They took everything we said as, there they go again. There the Black people go again, arguing about something, talking about some injustice. We don't care about that. We just want to live your life. Now you live your life. But you're living your life under a presidency, under an administration that does not care about the color of your skin. You will all suffer equally. Now we're all on equal footing. Because now all of a sudden there's a housing crisis now that white people can't buy houses. Now all of a sudden education is a problem because now white people don't have the opportunity to acquire access to education as easily as they were doing before. Now it's a problem, right? Now it's a problem because they can't buy their food adequately. These have always fundamentally been problems for the people in lower classes or people of color. This has always been an uphill battle that we have to overcome in our day-to-day lives. We cannot live in a world where politics doesn't matter because it does not allow that to occur for us. We have to care about politics. It is forced into our breakfast, lunch, dinner, and casual conversations because it's negatively impacting us. We have evidence of it. You've never had evidence of it, or you've lived in a world that you thought, well, it's not happening to me and my family, I don't care. Very individualistic. And so we as a country need to be more discerning. Black people I'm talking to, people of color who voted the right way. Stop letting them terrify you. Is what is happening bad? For sure. Is it negatively impacting you? But ask yourself, what family member of yours hasn't negatively been impacted by living in America? Because while there are many benefits to living in this country, there are a lot of negatives. And you've been experiencing it generation after generation, overcoming so many things. This is why so many of you are the first to go to college, first to get degrees. This is not the first for a lot of white people. They've been having these opportunities for a long time. So when you see them talking on your screen, take in the information, see if it's valuable. You can do anything with it. If it's useful, keep yourself informed and move on. Do not allow anxiety and fear to enter your bloodstream. You have survived this far under worse conditions. Far worse. They do not have the resilience to weather this in a graceful way. And again, while I am sad Kamala lost deeply for everything we lost along with that, I am not sad at this bittersweet moment that they're seeing that they gotta care. They gotta care. They gotta force the people around them to care. They gotta force their family members to care. They gotta force their celebrities to care. They have to care, because if they don't, now it's gonna impact them. Just a little reminder to take a breath and breathe, because your ancestors, if you're Black, used to be in chains, used to be actual physical daily chattel. Okay? All right. Just a reminder. Not to not care. You should care. You should fight in a very quiet way, because I don't want you risking your lives. We've done enough of that. But remember, you've done this before. It's in your blood. You got this.
The truth is, Black is not as though they don't care. The Black folks are rather silent or just neutral, because everything that is happening right now is what they are used to. You can't put a policy against the Black. The Black folks will find a way to break through the policy and still make it, irrespective of what barrier, blockage, and hindrances you have in the policy. The Blacks are used to having their way, irrespective of what was planted against them. The barriers have become a pedal that makes the Black people jump higher. It has become a pedal that's become a platform to even have a stronger resolution that, okay, I'm going to march on this struggle. I'm going to step on this pedal and it's going to take me higher. That is the mindset of the Black community. And you can't absolutely blame the white folks, because they're not used to this. They're not used to the fact that everything will be taken away from them. SNAP benefit, Medicaid, Medicare, agricultural donation or loan and all that. They can't survive. And they are saying, why are we suffering? Why are we going through this? Why the Black folks are saying, what is it exactly that you are going through that is not new? I mean, this is the platform that we have. This is how we've been living our lives. This is how we've been surviving. So what is it that is new? Sometimes when a set of people are anti-people, to some set of people, they are not friendly to them, they are not nice to them, they make things difficult for them. You don't know, most of the time, they don't know that they're actually helping those people to forge ahead in life. They are not aware that they're helping them to be strong, to be resolute, to be determined about succeeding in life. They don't know. And such is the case of the Black folks. The Black folks have gone through a lot of things, a lot of struggle. And the white folks are not used to this kind of struggle, because this is their first time. They are going through this stuff and they don't know that, this is how it is. I feel strongly that it is time for them to actually understand. That is one of the speakers was saying, yes, you need to read books like this, like that, and this, and that, so that you can get up it. Another lady said, it is not their fault, because they are used to having it freely. They don't struggle for it. And the time has come, really. And they are saying the Blacks are not speaking for them. And the Blacks are saying, what do you want us to say? What more do you want us to say? Are we not going through it together? You feel it's suffering for us. We feel it is just a normal thing. It is a normal situation. It is a stepping block for us. It's a pedal that will step us into our success. We have adapted many years ago, so it's not new to us. We feel that this is even good for us, because it creates a kind of a same platform for everybody, and let's see who's going to survive, let's see who's going to succeed. And that is why the word Black excellence is flying everywhere, because the Blacks have mastered hurdles, they've mastered barriers, they've mastered setbacks, hindrances, and they've known it to be a platform for them to succeed. Why the white folks are saying, what kind of thing is this? They are crying. They are crying for help, calling on the Blacks to help them. But the Blacks are saying, this is exactly what we are going through. This is what we have as a normal life. So why are you guys complaining? And it's shameful, really, because what Blacks has been saying for many years is coming into reality, that those guys are having it free. Look at the benefit. but 70% of the people are on benefit. Look at virtually every policy has been made to hate the white folks. And right now, it is not funny. They are gnashing their teeth. They are crying for help. They are saying, "Oh, we never imagined it's going to be like this for us." And the blacks are saying, "How is it exactly for you now?" I mean, what you're saying is normal. It's a normal thing to us, but it is not normal to the white folks because they've never had it this way. Guys, let me know what your take is at the comment section. What the white folks are going through. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it normal? Whatever your view is, let the conversation begin at the comment section. I await your responses. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your support all through the time, all through the moment. I'm grateful for everyone that has subscribed, that has liked, that has shared. I'm grateful. And of course, if today is your first time, please subscribe, share the story, and let everyone know what is happening. That blacks, they're succeeding, and white folks, they are crying and begging for help. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.